everybody, welcome back for another video of algebra notes. Today we're still in Unit 4, we're talking about the slope. In particular, we're talking about the slope of parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So parallel lines, first thing you need to know is what they are. They are two lines that never intersect. So they're two lines that are always next to each other, but not like perfectly next to each other. Okay? So I would draw a little symbol of parallel lines that's just two lines right next to each other. Okay? So they'll never intersect though. They're always right there. Okay? And perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect and they create 90-degree angles. So they're not just any intersecting lines. They have to create that 90-degree angle. Okay? Just like the x and y axis, those are perpendicular lines because they create those right angles. Okay? So it's not just anything that, it's not either parallel or perpendicular or anything. Parallel, perpendicular, or they can just be neither. Okay? I want to apologize right now because it looks like the bell might ring during this video, and I'm sorry if it does. Okay? I'll try to pause it and then continue talking after the bell rings. Alright, so let's talk about parallel lines. Now, parallel lines and perpendicular lines, the reason we're doing this now is because they have something very interesting going on with their slopes. Okay? Parallel lines actually have the same slope. They rise and fall. If you look at the lines, they rise and fall at the same rate. So they're going up at the same rate. They might not be on top of each other, but they're moving at the same rate. Okay? So they have the same slope. So here's, like, this is for one line. This is, ooh, that should be a negative right there. I don't know if I can change it. That should be a negative 1/2. Please change that. Okay? Or they should either both be 1/2 or negative 1/2. They should be the same. Not the same number in different signs. They should be exactly the same. Okay? Sorry about that. Perpendicular lines have reciprocal slopes and opposite signs. So not only is it going to be flipped, but it's also going to be the exact opposite sign. Okay? Because if you think about two lines crossing, one's going to be positive, one has to be negative, the way it's drawn out. Okay? And it's falling at the same rate, but in the opposite direction. If that makes sense. But here's what it looks like. Okay? Negative 1/2. You flip that over, you get negative 2/1. Change the sign, you get 2. Okay? So, that's what we're mostly talking about. This should have been blurred out. But which pairs of lines are parallel, perpendicular, and neither? Sorry, mine's in color. I couldn't get yours in color. That's no one. So you might want to label these like R, B, G, and Y or something. But they're just asking which one of these lines are parallel, which ones are perpendicular to each other, and which ones are neither. Well, if we look at this, let's talk about parallel lines. If we look at this thing, we've got the parallel lines are actually yellow and blue. They're moving at the same rate. Their slope is the same. They both have a slope of 1. Okay? And you can pick points if you want to check it. They're both moving the same rate down. Okay? So those are our only parallel lines here. Our perpendicular lines are going to be the ones that cross and make a right angle. So if you look here at this cross, it doesn't make a perfect right angle. Okay? You can actually look at these angles. This one's an acute, this one's acute, that's obtuse, obtuse. Not right angles. So those are, since they're not parallel and they're not perpendicular, they're actually neither, the green and the blue. The yellow and the green, again, not making a perfect, you can tell that since these two are parallel, it's not going to cross this one any different. So that one's neither as well. Oh my goodness, what am I trying to say? Told you the bell's going to go off, sorry. Oh, where's my pause? By the time I find the pause, it's going to be done. Sorry. Okay. The red and the blue, however, are making that perfect right angle. Okay? So those are perpendicular, and even though I can't see this, since I know yellow is parallel to this, it's going to create the same angles when they cross over here. So red and yellow are actually also perpendicular. The rest of these are just plain old neither. Red and green, they're not going to cross well. They're not going to create a right angle, so that's just identifying what are parallel and perpendicular lines on a graph. That's not too bad. Okay? Now here's where the slope comes in. Okay? kind of examples you're going to see here is that you might get equations, you might get 2 points from each line, and figure out if they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither, based solely on their slopes. So we have one line passes through these 2 points, and a different line, another line, passes through these 2 points. Are these lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? So in order to figure that out, the only thing I can figure out right now from 2 points is their slopes. So I'm going to figure out the points. So I'm going to take this first line here. I'm going to label it, so my x1 is 2, my y1 is -3, my x2 is -5, my y2 is -1, and I'm plugging it into that formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I get m equals -1 minus -3 over -5 minus 2. And I simplify it, I get 2 over -7. That's the slope for the first line. So I'm going to go on to the second line. I've got x1 equals 0 and y1 equals 7. The other one, I get x2 equals -4, y2 equals 0. I plug them in to my formula, so 0 minus 7 gives me -7. -4 minus 0 equals -4. Simplify it, I get 7 fourths. Now, because of this 4, really that's only the issue of the 4. Okay, I have 2 and 4. If they were the same number, they'd be not reciprocal, perpendicular lines. Okay, so but because they're different, they're not flipped and the opposite signs. It's just neither. Okay, this one you're gonna go ahead and try on your own, and when you come back, I'll have an answer for you. Go ahead and try. Okay, so what you should have gotten is neither. And I had all this work in between, but I don't think I need to show it to you. First one, this is the slope, I get -3. Second one, I get 5 over 13, which isn't anything. So they're not opposite reciprocals, they're not the same, so it's just neither. Alright, so here's the last one. This one you guys are going to do on your own. I'm not going to show it to you. But I want you to practice this. It's really important. Which pair of equations are parallel and perpendicular? So you have to go through all 6 of these and determine if they are any of these equations are going to create parallel lines or perpendicular lines. One easy way is to graph them, yes. But we're not going to focus on that, we're going to do it algebraically. And here's how. You're going to solve for y first. So on all these equations where it's not equal to y, you're going to solve for y. Then you just need to look at the slopes. If they're exactly the same, they're parallel. If they're reciprocals and the exact opposites, they're perpendicular. So go ahead and change all these, and then look at the slope and determine it. You can just draw lines between it and label the lines so you know which one's which. When you come back, I'll have the answers. Okay, so I don't know why I paused so long, but okay, so let's talk about the parallel ones. These two actually have the same slope of 4. Oh, there, and where's my other one? There. So those are my parallel lines, because they have the same slope. And then these two right here, this one and this one, are actually creating perpendicular lines because one has, I can't remember which one. I want to say this one has a slope of -3, where this one gives you a slope of, wait. Now this one gives you a slope of 3, and this one gives you a slope of -1/3. Yeah. So those are exact opposites, like reciprocal and opposite signs. Okay? And that's all I have for you. I told you it was going to be really, really short. So if you have any questions, please mark it down. I know I didn't really show you any examples of ordered pairs that you have to find a slope for that give you a parallel and perpendicular line. So that might be on your warm-up tomorrow. But again, if you have any questions, then write them down, and I will go over them next class. Bye!